Microphone might be a little bit too close to the pages, but whatever. Okay, well, we already got the thumbnail. We're just starting the recording now.
All right. I got it.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to the ChilLiterates, where we're coming...
Part chill and part illiterate.
Okay, don't try and make that a thing. I don't think it's going to be. But we have a few new people watching us.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we've actually grown in between episodes a little bit. Not by much, but I mean, there's some international viewers too. I think there's some people in India.
Oh.
And there's some new people
welcome.
that are, you know, I mean, welcome. For those of you who don't know, we have not read this before.
Nothing. We've read nothing from this series at all. So the one thing I'll say is welcome, but please don't spoil it, because even though this book has been out for a few decades, we have somehow lived our entire lives without spoilers. So that's just
for 30 plus books. So don't spoil any of those.
For the books, yeah.
Yeah, you can spoil anything from the first quarter of the first book.
We'll tell you what chapters we're on. So anything before then, because I'm enjoying this so much that I also appreciate being able to read it like it's a new book, even though it's absolutely not.
You don't get that a lot. Stuff that doesn't get spoiled for you, because...
It'd be like, you know, with the Fame, you know, because this is what D&D is based off of, it'd be like reading Harry Potter and somehow having avoided spoilers.
Yeah. Oh my God. Bruce Willis is what in The Sixth Sense? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's just the one thing I guess we'll be brave enough to ask is just no spoilers. We're having so much fun. So this episode, we've read chapter 14 through 17.
Yeah, lot happened. It's only 3 chapters, but there's quite a lot to talk about. First off, I just like how chapter 14 is called Lavender Eyes, because at first I thought it was something else, but then like Lavender Eyes.
Can you say what?
Well, I was thinking a bit like I don't know. We were gonna see. I thought Lavender Eyes was definitely gonna belong to a woman.
Oh yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought it'd be Canterbury's.
Yeah. Because
she's the only woman that the only female character we've really had an interaction with. So because Lavender, you do think of like kind of a feminine softness.
Yeah.
It's a pastel
it's not like,
color almost.
Like I would have think purple, and then lavender. It's not.
Yeah. Well, can we spoil to whom the Lavender Eyes belong?
Well, I mean, it's no, not really, because it's.
We'll be the only ones doing spoilers.
They're the ones who have read it. We're the ones who haven't. Whoever they already know who it belongs to.
Well, yeah. If you're clicking on this and we say, you know, this is up to chapter 17, then I hope you're not watching this without having read or at least being open to finding some spoilers yourself. So the Lavender Eyes belong to Dritz. And so, you know how we just said that, it made us both think of a feminine quality until they describe like the flame of purple. That light in his eyes. And it sounds terrifying.
Yeah, not to mention it's like you can see
dainty pastel little flower patch lavender. We're talking depths of fury purple.
Yeah, kind of like
lavender.
like you can see like a cat in the night, I think, when you can see just the eyes glowing, and that's all you can see. That's kind of like the description at some point, where it's like you can't see anything, but you know he's coming
predator,
for you.
You know, it's just a predator.
I even wrote here, he's kind of acting like a monk. Okay, I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but recently I've discovered, this has been going on for, you know, a long time, but there's these monks, I don't know where, Tibet, Nepal, wherever, where they do like the hardcore meditation, not like, you know,
what's a hardcore meditation?
Okay, so like I'm not talking like the Western mindfulness that we do, where it's like, just pay attention. Be grateful, stuff like that. I'm talking like your proper like Ace Ventura type of meditation, where it's like, you know, where the monks have the staircases, or where it's like everybody loves the slinky and everyone's just like hardcore straight up. Well, anyway, there's some monks that go so hardcore to where their new I don't know, trainees, what would you call them? They'll sneak up on them and whack them with a stick at random points.
The monks are whacking each other?
No, well, not the senior monks are whacking the new ones. They're not just whacking each other. That's not meditation. What's going on is basically they're trying to train.
Meditative.
Well, they're trying to train the new ones to not care. Kind of like the whole like Rafiki,
to meditate through it, through the pain basically and the distraction.
Kind of to learn like I don't know if you remember when Rafiki hit Simba on the head with the thing and it's like it's in the past, but it hurts now. But it's
clears his
anyway,
his mindset.
I'm not a monk, so don't ask me to describe this in any way. This is just a tangent. Anyway, that's kind of how I felt like Driz was acting because he was sneaking up on Wolfgar. I think we've kind of skipped halfway through the chapter, but Wolfgar is training with Driz now.
We're not trained professionals. We're not trained speaking professionals. So we're do we both have ADD? Has that been? We know? I don't think we know.
Well, but here's the thing.
It sure does feel like
you might have ADD. I have ADHD, which in order to get that H, you have to go to a professional. The ADD is something you diagnose yourself.
I'm absolutely self-diagnosed. I have not seen. We don't need to get personal now.
Yeah, But they clicked
all
on.
I'm trying to say
this.
is we're not professionals. We're not professional book critics, literary critics. We're just two people trying to see if we understand the story, and then we'll talk about it. So it's not really in a straight line. We don't talk in a straight line at all.
No. Well, hopefully, you know the story, because if you're trying to follow along based on what we're saying, you're not going to be able to. But so
what a great idea we had to start this, podcast.
Yeah. So.
Okay, let's just start.
Yeah.
Chapter 14 is titled Lavender Eyes, and spoiler alert, they belong to Drizzt.
Right, who is taking Wolfgar to train him in combat. Right. He's already learned humility from Brunner, so now he's just going to learn
more humility. I
thought
he was
humility.
Going to Drizzt to kind of learn humility there too, because
a little bit.
This dark elf is very small in stature compared to Wolfgar, and I think he kind of goes into it. It's like, what's this dark elf gonna teach me?
Nobody likes dark elves.
Yeah, what's he got? What does he know that I don't know, or what can he do that I can't out muscle? The fight and win the fight against this small elf, and that's where I think Wolfgar got more. I was going to say humanized. What's the word I'm looking for? Humbled.
Humanized. Yeah, why isn't it humanized? I hate it. Yeah, I hate it when English does that. Why is the plural
Why is
of
it Arkansas, no Arkansas?
Yeah. Excuse. I know another tangent. Why is the plural of teeth? But why is a toothbrush called a toothbrush? Why isn't it called a teeth brush?
You brush one at a time. Don't be so ambitious.
But you brush all of them.
Don't be so ambitious. I just picture you.
Yeah. 1, 2,
yeah,
3.
You do. You do one little front, back, side to side, front, back, side to side, front, back.
I just leave the toothbrush stationary and I just brush my mouth up against it.
like eating corn on the cob.
Yeah. Oh boy. Anyway, Wolfgar is happy to be training under Driz after
he gets to know him.
After he gets to know him, and it's pretty fast. He gains his respect pretty fast. Mm-hmm.
Almost instantaneously, because Brunor, when he made the introduction, he's like, and Wolfgar's reaction was like, dark elf, and completely judges him based on, the actions and the reputation of dark elves in general. So Brunor's like, well, here's your first lesson. Why don't you two just go at it, and I'll just be here. And yeah, that's all it took. Wolfgar's like, yeah, okay, I could learn something from this guy.
Yeah,
maybe I won't talk so much.
Especially since he's learning stuff that Driz can't. He's learning stuff from Driz that Driz can't teach him because he is a human. No, like Driz can't teach him because he's gaining advantages from this training that are specific to him because he's a human and he can't
Sure, and with Drit's training and, and Wolfgar's size, because Wolfgar is nimble. He's like a barbarian, so he's bigger than Brunor, a dwarf, and Drit's the dark elf. But he's nimble, he's young, he's lithe, and so Drit's training in someone of that size is just a machine, unstoppable.
Yeah, and he takes him into this shallow cave that Driz is living in. Because of course he lives in a cave.
Back to the monk. I feel like I picture a monk.
Just sort of like
in the
hiding.
Cave of the hills.
Yeah, and so he takes him in there, and and I'm skipping past it.
That's okay. What are you skipping?
Well, no, I'm skipping past the part that says Driz is acting like a monk. It's like, wait a minute, you just said what's on my note. How did that happen?
That's one of those circles.
One of those circles again.
That's what made the mental image, I'm sure for you, was, living in a cave with no amenities, hardly any food. They're living, in a very lean life, no comforts in this cave. So, you would think of a monk's lifestyle.
Yeah, especially because he's literally sneaking up on Wolfgar to make sure he's always like kind of like Unagi type,
Well, yeah, to have that like that sense, those little spidey senses, kind of tingling in the background, because one of Drit's abilities is just being like so quiet. Like the way he, in the earlier chapters, the way he snuck around the barbarians' camp before they attacked 10 towns.
Yeah.
And he was just so quiet, very sneaky. And for him to sneak up and hopefully train Wolfgar to kind of even catch someone at that level means his senses will be, probably above most. Definitely all barbarians, but most people in this, I think, in this world setting in general.
Yeah. And so after all this is going on, Wolfgar is starting to, respect Driz, and they're doing their stuff in the cave. They have a look outside, and by the looks of it, the tribe of the Elk, which is the tribe that...
When they see the campfire.
Right. The tribe that Wolfgar is from, is survived. Mm-hmm. Despite the fact that
he didn't know that.
Yeah, he didn't know that. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because he said he looked out, as the chapter ended, he said he looked out at the campfire and wondered. And he doesn't say what he's wondering, so it makes you wonder alongside him.
You wonder what he's wondering?
I wonder what he's wondering.
Well, remember, at the end of that chapter, I think what he's wondering about are the last words, that big lesson that Dritz gives him regarding, is a king... is someone that is a good king, someone that is a leader who cares for his people, or just the strongest person that holds the most power. And that's what he's left, that's what he leaves Wolfgar with to ponder. So, because Wolfgar was speaking so highly about, what's the stupid king's name? Not stupid. What's the king's name?
Hefstag? Hefstag. It's hard to pronounce.
Who was the king of the tribe of the Elk, and this big, boisterous guy.
Hefstagg.
We should just...
Hefstag. Pronouncing it the Nordic way or whatever.
Yeah, we'll just call him Heath.
Heath. Heath Ledger.
And so he says some nice things about his king, Hefstag, and Dritz kind of questions his perspective, and he puts it in a very mild way, because this respect that's in Wolfgar's tone regarding his king, he makes him think, where does this come from? Is this respect coming just because he's the most powerful guy in the room and nobody can dethrone him? Or is it because he's a good leader that cares about his people, and their well-being? And that's what I think Wolfgar was left wondering.
Yeah, and I think he's sort of, in the next few chapters, he starts to make up his mind a little bit more, because he sees what we're about to talk about. But it's like he's not. I guess he's learning to fight. He's learning a lot in the past just couple of chapters. He's grown a lot. but I don't think he's seen...
He's like entering manhood now, and, you know, where we left off before was Brunor, you know, gifting him this like indescribable gift, which is the battle hammer, the war hammer.
Oh my god, yeah. And I have something to say about that when we get to it.
Why don't we just get to it?
Okay.
Well, I mean, should we be aiming to talk in more of like a chapter by chapter?
Well, that's
so we're not going so back and forth.
See, I'm kind of going with that because it's hard to do, but then we kind of losing track of the whole story because it's like, it's hard to like. I take these notes and I'm like, I can't even.
They're
read
good
it.
notes because sometimes I'll be glancing over and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was good. But I guess what I was trying to say is that, you know, going off of what you said with Wulfgar's growth, you know, he received this indescribable present that Brunor gave him in the Warhammer, taking Brunor's lessons, now to train under Dritz, and because he has these mentors, you know, that are basically the best of their own kind and are so different from each other in almost every way you can imagine, he's becoming such a well-rounded character now. You know, he's coming of age, he has these mentors, these hard lessons that are coming up, and these hard times. Now he sees that the tribe of the Elk has likely survived. They're near because he can see the campfire. And, you know, again, in the coming future, there's, of course, more conflicts coming up between the different races and Ekar Kessel, who's our, you know, main bad guy right now. So, yeah.
He's going to need to make a choice.
Yeah.
So it's glad that this growth is coming as fast as it is because the choice isn't going to wait for him to grow up.
No, I feel like some of these are happening because there is no choice.
Yeah, not to mention that it's already been 5 years, so it's not like...
Yeah, it's not like
it's felt faster to us, but I'm sure for him it was a journey.
Every moment was felt, you know, down in the caves and not in the caves, the mines.
Yeah, the mines and the caves. He spent within 10 days, I think he said he'd already come to respect Drizzt.
I wasn't expecting this character to really be in the book. I remember that glance that Brunor had given him at the end of the 10 days battle when the barbarians, you know, came and attacked 10 days. And
10 towns.
What did I say?
10 days.
No, not the 10 days, because that's how they measure time. The 10 towns. And I remember thinking like...
I'm just realizing like all of these names are so like very descriptive of exactly what they are. 10 towns. What's 10 towns? It's a place with 10 towns. What's a 10 day? I wonder what they're going to say. Oh, you were just here in the last 10 seconds.
10 days, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So, next up we have On the Wings of Doom, which it's a bit complicated because we're moving to seeing things from the perspective of the Verbig, which are giants that are...
But they're like smaller giants. Aren't they? Like, they're giants, but they are not the giants.
Okay. I'm sure you're right. I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that there were different kinds.
I'll tell you. The smallest of the giants. Though tall and thin, the smallest of the giants, they were still a formidable force.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Okay. So they're giants, but it just gives you a little bit of room to imagine, okay, if these are the smaller ones, what the heck are we going to be looking at when we find the big giants, or the normal sized giants?
Yeah, and there's a few, I'm not sure if these are the same ones, but there are a few that are like ice giants. Like
we've heard about the ice giants. I don't think these are
those are
ones.
Like Ekar Kessel's personal guard.
We didn't have any type of descriptions to make me think these are ice giants yet. These are just a type of giant.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, actually, I think your point was a good one in that we get to see their point of view. I wasn't expecting to get multiple points of views, including what I would call the antagonist. You know.
Yeah, so it's a bit their strategy is a bit hard for me to comprehend. Maybe it's not supposed to be good anyway, but it's like their strategy is get closer to 10 towns or whatever they're trying to get to, and then just stay there doing nothing until you get discovered. Like I'm not sure if it's meant to be a bad strategy or.
Well, remember Akkar? It was mentioned that Akkar Kessel chose this tactic. I guess he chose this tactic that was against Crinchinabon's advice because he wanted to flex. I forgot. I'm so sorry. It's this was the feeling that I was left with. Now I don't remember the exact paragraph and phrasing, but basically he wanted to kind of prove that. Oh, sorry, I have my dog is here. So if you that's
it's right under the microphone, you can't see him, but he just
that little jingle is just Akus. And so basically, Akkar Kessel is trying to make I'm my own man type of moves. I don't just listen to Crinchinabon. I'm not Crinchinabon's puppet. I can be a big master, decider myself. And so that's the actual term. He's a master decider. And so you can push him off too.
No, he's fine.
Okay.
He's good.
And so that's how I remember it was he brought these, Verbeegs when it would have been better to do something else because he's basically stubborn and egotistical. And so
oppositional.
This tactic is not even, it doesn't even count as a tactic if it makes no sense. It's just a choice.
Yeah, he just did it because he could and he wanted to and because everyone else said no.
Yeah, and now they're waiting for Akusa. He's a good boy. And now they're waiting for reinforcements. So they're there. I don't know why they had to get there first. And they're waiting for this orc messenger to run back and forth between their campsite and Akkar Kessel until they get news to proceed to invade 10 towns. And so why? Why do they need to be there so long? Because this messenger and why does this messenger need to come so often? How they made it sound they were there for several 10 days. So yeah, again, you tell me, what's the tactic? Where's the planning? Where's the sense?
I suppose if they hadn't have done that, the story just can't continue. You know what I mean? It's like it's plot armor. They have to do that.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, he had to come up with something. Well, that's good for us because
right.
I thought it was kind of juicy in the next couple episodes with some of the battles. So this campsite of Verbeeg is just kind of hanging around just outside of the area. Oh, sorry.
He tried to jump off, but he just kind of slid off.
Nobody said he's not very graceful. So it's good for us that their campsite was just kind of outside the perimeter because it was near the dwarven mines. So is it this chapter then that we find them come across two dwarves off on their own making camp as they're exploring for stone or precious metals. So these, two dwarfs are out making camp for the night, having a, nice relaxing time when, bam, 3 Verbeeg come out of the camp, out for a stroll to get some air, and they freaking, they take them out. So it's this battle between 2 dwarves outnumbered with the 3 Verbeeg, who are the mini giants, and doesn't end well for the dwarves.
Yeah, and I like how, after that, even though there's only a few casualties, it says the first blows of the war have begun.
Yes.
Because it's going to escalate after that conflict.
Yeah, it's not the true battle in the way that you think it's, these 2 armies coming together, but it is the beginning of the battle because it's the first time these opposite forces come across each other. And, of course, Dritz and Wolfgar come across the remains of the campsite and basically do some investigating and find out about the Verbeeg.
And when that happens, a little bit before that happens, it's interesting because a little before I wrote some things down. Driz is saying, I remember, and I put that in quotes, Driz recalled vividly as terrible memories are often vivid, which I thought was pretty amusing.
They're the ones that stick with you.
What he says, the drow kill passionless, the tribe of the elk kill with passion. And so it later on when the conflict actually starts, it's completely opposite to what you're expecting, because Driz is just sitting there playing with them.
Cold.
Yeah.
He's just a stone cold killer. But, he says passionless, but that fire, that flame, and that need for vengeance to avenge the 2 dwarves that were killed at the camp is burning in his eyes. So you may say passionless, but it did not sound passionless.
No. And matter of fact, he even told him, "It's like, what's
personal?"
Yeah, it's like, weren't you just saying back then to not do that? It's just like, screw that. This is revenge.
Rules for thee, not for me, because he was toying with these Verbig. Dritz was toying with these Verbig. And it was kind of interesting. Like, he had all the time in the world. He would, be fighting this Verbig and messing with him. Yeah. Just small cuts,
Small stabs here, death by 1,000 cuts.
Just keeping an eye on Wolfgar, making sure he's okay, Yeah. And just, it's like a cat playing with the mouse and, making sure his buddy's okay. It seemed like he had all the time in the world. It wasn't a stressful battle for him, or he was ever under... a real threat of, personal injury.
There was no actual danger. He just wanted to drag it out because he wanted to make himself feel better. But during this encounter, I remember, again, just like last episode, I was at my sister's house, and they're, by the fireplace, reading my book, watching the dog, and I did the opposite of what I told you guys to do last time, which is to turn off all your electronic devices. They just got themselves a new PS5, so I wasn't gonna ignore that, and I was playing a lot of God of War before that. So before, when I was playing, you can throw your axe and recall it back to you, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, that's just like Thor. And then at some point, by the way, spoiler. We don't care about spoiling other stuff. We're
not going to be saying spoiler alert. You say spoiler alert.
So for God of War, at the beginning, you're fighting Thor, and he's calling back his hammer and throwing it back to you, and then you're calling back your axe and throwing it at him, and I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if Brunner's hammer actually did that?
You thought about it?
I thought about that.
Before you read it?
Before I read it.
It didn't even cross my mind.
And I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be cool? And then he throws the hammer, and I think about that, and I'm like, oh, it'd be so cool. I love that moment. And then it came back, and I'm like, he's got the power of Thor. I wrote it down.
He's got the power of Thor. I didn't think of it in terms of Thor, but I was just like, reading it in that moment was like jaw drop, like, yes! Because, he threw his hammer at the, Verbig, the enemy. And I'm like, well, now what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do now? And it's like...
But it comes back, so
yeah, it's kind of like smallish, but not, I mean, if you're going based off of what's on here...
That's as big as his head.
Yeah, so it's like if... You could do some damage if you hold on to it and just keep smashing, but what are you going to do if you just throw it?
Yeah, that's why I was like, okay. But that's now why I love Brunor even more, because he made this incredible Warhammer.
Yeah, it's even better than before.
Any weapon they've described anywhere. This is the weapon,
Yeah. And it's not like, we say Thor, he doesn't have like thunder or anything, and it sounded to me like...
He hasn't tried yet, okay? We don't know.
Yeah, he's not going to just... But, no, I guess the biggest difference is, to me, it felt like, unlike Thor's hammer, it felt like the only, like, power that it had was being able to return. I don't think there was any sort of, like, force behind it when he throws it. Like, he's not controlling it midair type stuff like when Thor...
It's not a boomerang making a full curve, no.
Yeah, it just seems like he can throw it, and it's a regular hammer
and
until
then it just shows...
Yeah.
Or either it comes, like the recall comes back, or it just shows up in his hand. That I'm not sure. It just kind of showed up in his hand.
Yeah, I hope he knows how to catch it, because imagine if that thing gets recalled and you miss. And
that weapon was made for him. It fits him perfectly. I feel like it's just going to be like, it fits him like a glove. There's going to be almost like no learning curve. I think you can see him.
Yeah, you can barely see him off the corner.
So
yeah.
Can I let him out?
Yeah.
Good boy.
Now, of course, something I noticed, we skipped something. Before, this is important actually, before this encounter starts, Drizzt takes Wulfgar to 10 Towns and starts showing him around.
Mm-hmm.
And Wulfgar sees through it, of course, but Drizzt is doing it on purpose to get him attached to 10 Towns. So
to kind of like humanize the people of 10 Towns, because Wulfgar was literally in the group of barbarians that had planned an attack on 10 Towns.
Yeah.
So these are the people that he would have slaughtered. Now imagine, like if you're Wulfgar, imagine thinking, I was just here not too long ago to kill you, the women, the children, no one was going to be spared. And I'm coming here now as a part of your society almost. Like I will be your neighbor. I will be living in the area. I will be interacting. I'm sure buying food and services in the market.
My neighbor.
Where's that from?
It's a beautiful day in this neighbor. I'm not doing this.
I did know where that was from. I just wanted you to think. I'm just kidding. That was really unexpected for me, and I feel the author did a great job with it was only a moment, it was like a few sentences, but it had a big impact. Goose is knocking.
Now he's trying to get back in.
He's like a baby. He wants me to go where he wants to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the author did that within, I don't even think it was 3 lines, 2 sentences, and it was so impactful. What good writing to have such a thought-provoking moment that it made me kind of thinking about Wulfgar's perspective for minutes. And it's just this tiny little tidbit. Sorry. You're not going to be invited to the next one.
Well, he's been here at every single one. This is the only one he's actually... He's done a face reveal.
Yeah. He's such a shadow. You can't even see... You probably can't even see the features of his face because he's all just a shadow.
It's just a black little smudge on the camera. But, okay. Yeah, and then, of course, Brunner is proud of him. He finds out about this whole... He goes over to the scene of the encounter and sees the giants with broken teeth and broken faces, and he's like, oh. The boy fell too. So I think that's funny. And Brunner kind of makes me laugh always because he's always like,
oh, he's the best. Oh, he's cracking jokes. Like, he looks like this serious guy, but he's cracking jokes. He's the best. Definitely my favorite. Oh, but that did remind me. We didn't talk about the name of the lead Verbeeg. Do you remember that character's name?
Oh, I wrote it down. Bigrin.
Okay, so it's
whose face is disfigured.
Okay, so it's spelled Big Grin, but one word, no space in between. Big Grin. And, I mean, this dude must have gotten his nickname after the accident because a wolf bit off his top lip.
And it's like...
So he is, like, constantly, like...
grimacing.
Yeah.
Kind of like Joker.
Yeah, can we do this? What's this thing where you... Yeah, that's him the whole time. Now, I mean... And his name's Big Grin, so imagine it's like...
I didn't catch that, actually. I just thought it was Big Grin with 2 G's. Oh.
Well, how I saw it was a Big Grin. I was like, this dude must have gotten that nickname after the wolf bit off his lip, but imagine if his name was Big Grin. And then this happened.
And then that happened, yeah.
And now everybody's like, like, that if only my name was Cash Money.
Yeah. Yeah. That's called, there's actually a name for that.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
No, it's like automatic something.
Is it like a writing tool? Or are you talking
about
in real life?
No, in real life. When like someone turns out to be the job that their name is, whatever. You are more likely to become that. Not by much, but it's
not self-fulfilling prophecy.
Well, it is.
Whoever Elton John called Tiny Dancer turned out to be a dancer.
Well, no, because he didn't. Bernie Taupin writes his lyrics. He's not. Not to mention that Elton John is Reginald White anyway. That's not even his name. We're getting way off topic here.
Now you're just I'm just saying. Imagine. Okay, I just want to throw that out there because that dude, it's like,
Yeah, just.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, because he takes lead. Because I guess the reason it's important to mention him because when we're seeing it from the perspective of the Verbig, he's the one actually calling the shots. Mm-hmm. He's the one with the page filling out the page. So.
Okay, I think we're at the chapter called Vengeance. Are we there yet? That's the last chapter that we've read, chapter 17. Mm-hmm. It's titled Vengeance, and here we get to see that lavender flame, licking Dritz's eyes and terrifying Wolfgar. And where Wolfgar realizes, like, dude, I would follow this little dark elf anywhere, even to my ruin. Yeah,
at first he's like all scared. He's like, I'm not sure about this. He's like, there's a point where it says, let me read it. He knew then and there that Driz would someday lead him into a situation from which there was no escape. Mm-hmm. But then at the very end, he's like, he's down with that.
And he would follow. Yeah, and I would follow. Yeah. Basically. Which also shows, like, look at the trust. Come on, guys. In a world where no one can really trust another, it's a dog-eat-dog world. And then you've got Bruenor, Dritz, even Canterbury, but we don't know her, that character, like,
almost halfway through the book, and she's only made, like, one appearance. Hopefully
she's just there for the sassy comments. We haven't seen her in action yet, so she's just kind of like the,
Yeah, but the sassy comments a lot of times are what makes what makes the doers. Okay, movie reference: Big Fat Greek Wedding, right? You know how they say the man is the head of the house, but the woman is the neck,
and she can turn the head any way she wants.
Yeah, that's kind of I think that sometimes maybe just a few comments from her might actually be the difference.
Well, she has that, like, she is the stereotypical femininity, amongst, all these high testosterone males, and just kind of knocking some sense into them with these kind of like just these comments. It's not even like
not passive aggressive.
No, not passive aggressive.
As planting a seed.
Yeah, it's not like head to head battle, stubbornness, fighting. It's just these like little like not
comments
sneaky.
to make you do all the work.
Just these comments that leave you thinking. It's just gets under your skin. She has that like feminine prowess.
Almost like a psychologist. Like, and how do you feel about that? Like you're doing the only work.
So she doesn't have to match their energy because her own way works fine enough to leave them speechless and
yeah.
What? So we haven't seen that much of her, but what we've seen is she's very smart, sassy. She kind of breaks some of that tension, knocks some sense into, these one-track thinkers over here. But I think it's such a wonderful thing because we've got the gang, where it's Bruenor, Dritz, and now Wolfgar. That just have this deep found complete trust in a place, in a setting where that does not exist amongst anyone. And it makes it just sweeter.
Yeah. And it's sweeter, but of course this is like in this chapter it's just all testosterone because it's just death. The death count in this chapter alone is...
Training, fight,
we got to see the dwarf army. Holy crap.
Oh,
They're absolutely like...
Okay, first of all, again, I think I've used this word too many times, but terrifying because Even Brunor, he was like the front of the line. And okay, how do dwarves battle? They dig holes in the ground. And they cover like they cover themselves back with just the top piece of the earth, like where the grass was growing. So they dig a hole and just kind of put a little cap on it, and they're in there. And so then when the army passes by, yes, that's it. Oh, you're usually worried from your enemy being in front, behind, left, right, and maybe up, in the cliffside in the rocks.
Yeah.
I would never have thought to worry about my enemies being under my feet. Okay?
Yes, and they do that on purpose because it says they aim to cripple.
Yes, they slice the backs of their knees,
the Achilles tendons.
The tendons.
Yeah.
So not even like a quick death. They're just like disabling the enemy. And I feel like what a terrible feeling to feel disarmed, because you can't. It's not that you can't walk out of pain because oh, my leg hurts. Like, your body cannot work to make you take a step because your tendon you're not even severed.
Not even close to being mortally injured, and yet you're
it's not
completely
like you have
ineffective.
It's not even like adrenaline can get you through this. Like, oh, you get punched in the stomach and you get the wind knocked out of you, but like adrenaline or just a couple of breaths,
you get up. If you don't have any feet, you can't get back on your feet.
No, you cannot physically function.
Yeah. Because
the parts are no longer connected. The gears are no longer interlocking, and you're broken.
This is what I thought was funny is the fight was over in 3 minutes.
Yeah. This big group that, the reinforcements that we're supposed to be afraid of coming to 10 towns, and it's like, oh my gosh, Eckhart Kessel's sending these reinforcements. Now they're going to be these big numbers, and they are composed of orcs, ogres, little giants,
big giants, ice giants, wizards and demons.
No, they're not there yet.
Well, no, but
they're not in this reinforcement group.
Right. True.
So you're picturing all these gnarly monsters coming up, and he ends it with nah, it's over in 3 minutes. Give me something better.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that's kind of how when you see the effects of just not strategizing properly, because what did that do?
Yeah.
No one was barely even injured in the dwarves in the first place.
Nothing
but losses on the.
Not a single dwarf
was killed or injured, other than the original ones on the top of the hill, or whatever.
Doesn't count, yeah.
Yeah, and so.
And I was expecting some big battle, and I feel like this has kind of been happening in this book. The Battle of 10 Towns, with the barbarians invading 10 towns.
Right.
With the campsite of the Verbeeg, and then the reinforcements, and the dwarfs coming together as a dwarf army to take them out. I thought each one of those would be this 30-page battle. The main conflict of the book. No.
So
now
over.
I can't wrap my mind around what the heck is it gonna be. What is gonna be the big peak battle in this
climax? Yeah.
Because each one of these has kind of been misleading, but not that I'm complaining, but just kind of to throw you off because you don't know when it's gonna happen. So it's been fun. It's been kind of I always think oh, I'm gonna get the big battle. Oh, it's gonna be this one, and then it's
it builds stuff up and then resolves them really quickly. So it's oh, okay, I guess that was done. What's next? And so I don't know I stopped doing my pyramids. I used to, be doing pyramids of conflict, but now it's every one of the pieces keeps getting. I'm oh, well, he's dead now, so no problem. But then they're all coming back in other ways, and so it's hard to predict. Some of my predictions have kind of started going out the window because, anytime you start to predict something, it happens in the next chapter and then it's over. So it's not really a prediction. It's just.
There's no way for you. I don't think we'll know. I don't think we have enough information to put it together yet. So we're still, being brought so much.
One book into it too. Who knows how long this whole conflict is going to drag out for? We've got
30 of these to go.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. Okay, so this trilogy here, which
How long
is
we've got to make a timeline to get through these 30 books, and all right.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? So this first trilogy is meant to be like Wulfgar's trilogy.
Okay.
And then the one next, which is 3 books before, is the Drow trilogy.
We're reading them publication order, right?
Right, we're reading publication order.
So the next ones are going to be, do you say Drizzt?
Yeah, Drizzt's
but
backstory.
It's prequel?
Prequel.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And so, like, in the whole story, a lot of the people who read them, for the second time, they start at the Drizzt story, so it goes in chronological
Got it, like
order.
The chronological, story.
Yeah, and according to, this is many people's opinion, but Streams of Silver is meant to be, the best one, revered.
What book number is that?
I think it's,
I haven't looked into anything
in the Drow trilogy.
I want to avoid.
Well, same here. That's why I'm not trying to. But from all the stuff that I'm hearing,
I'm looking forward to that one.
Coworkers or people who I know who I've already spoken to about this,
they say that's the one to.
Yeah, Streams of Silver is the one. Okay. But we'll get there. We got to get through this one first. But you're right. We gotta start doing this more often. But it's holidays are coming up. Yeah. Hope you've had some good holidays. By the way, Happy New Year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're a little late, so still hope, at least the last
New Year
month.
brings a whole bunch of responsibilities, so reading gets pushed back.
Well, we've got all those resolutions to get done now in the new year.
Yeah. I mean, look, my resolution this year is to not have a resolution, and I'm telling you, it's working out like a charm. The only one I've actually stuck to. Because it's too much pressure. It's arbitrarily
that's
we're
a
deciding.
wonderful one to be able to stick to, because to stick to it, you have to do nothing.
Well, no, I'm not. The resolution wasn't that I'm going to do nothing. It's I'm not going to put any extra responsibility on me.
You have to do nothing to, check that box of the resolution.
Yeah.
That's good. I feel like that's a good mentality, too.
Yeah, because it's
you can't put too much pressure.
Yeah, you're already... Everyone is working on themselves.
Hold on, we're not a self-help podcast. Now we're getting into our, personal. We'll do a separate one for that if you're ever interested in just listening to us talk. Because if there's one skill we have, I feel like we can just. It won't make much sense, but we can talk.
We can ramble. I'm not sure if it's going to be worth, but
So okay, Are we ready to wrap it up? You have something else to
Well, there's something
bring up?
we didn't mention. We didn't mention Wulfgar and Drizzt taking out a patrol of
6
Verbeeg with Guinevere.
Oh yeah, that's kind of big, because Wulfgar's reaction to Guinevere is not what I was expecting.
This is not natural.
Yeah, major rejection for Guinevere. Actually, he almost was like,
I'm not
gonna fight alongside that creature. What did he call it? Demon.
Yeah. It's
and
only a panther.
He's like, it's a cat.
Yeah.
You never seen one? You know what that is?
It's just...
Yeah, Drizzt just called her a cat. Which
is fine. It's still a cat.
Big cat, or the cat sprung from the cliffs. He just, in Drizzt's point of view, it's a cat. And then you've got poor Wulfgar, scared, that this demon from the depths of hell, has come in and is gonna eat him or something. But it's like, no, that's just Guinevere. She's cool. She's gonna help us.
Yeah, and she just... They take them out one at a time, almost as if... Almost like an Assassin's Creed game, where you sort of sneak up on each one of the guards and slowly pick them apart one at a time so they don't notice.
Yeah, that's kind of the way to do it, because even though Drizzt had the confidence that it's like, oh, there's only 6 Verbeeg, it's a sure win. It's still, you're outnumbered. They are giants, so they're even bigger than Wulfgar the Barbarian. So what they do is, Guinevere comes in. She kind of attacks a couple of them, takes 2 of them out, and then takes off, so that the other 4 kind of end up getting split because of their different pace.
It's almost as if they sort of tried to take them at each end of
there was a little bit of a divide because of the confusion.
Yeah, so they're like constantly ping-ponging them back and forth. Yeah. And as they turn, the guy in the back is gone.
Oh, and Dritz is just like climbing the Verbeeg with his swords. He's like, by stepping on one, and he had like his scimitar. How do you say that?
Scimitar? Well, he has 2 of them.
Yes. Yeah. He had the scimitar in the front chest of one. He like parkours off the second one to then stab the back of the first one. And he just like does this like little twist and pulls out the blades.
Yeah,
and
he's just like... He actually used the scimitar as a pivot point.
Yes. To just climb on this Verbeeg like... like you're climbing up a tree to, pick some peaches or something. He's very lackadaisical. It makes Dritz...
What was that word you just used?
Lackadaisical.
Is that a word? Or are you just messing with me? Is that a word?
It's a word. It's like relaxed. Like
what?
Lackadaisical.
Lackadaisical.
I hope. Lackadaisical, isn't it like very relaxed, like not lazy, but like very relaxed, loose, lackadaisical?
I'd like to say that that's one of those words where I'm like impressed and I'm gonna use it, but no, I'm never gonna use that word ever.
We should make sure. I'll Google it after we end this.
No.
To make sure that I'm using it correctly.
Well, real or not, I don't have the desire to. I don't like.
It's terrible to spell.
It's terrible to ears. I don't like it either.
Lackadaisical. Lackadaisal.
That's just pure ick to my ears.
Oh no, I totally missed a syllable. Lackadaisical. Anyway, I never won a spelling bee.
This episode brought to you by Grammarly.
No, you said we can't do that. We're gonna get Grammarly's cease.
We're not gonna get sued.
Cease and desist letter.
Yeah, because Grammarly's lawyers sat and watched this podcast all the way to the very end where we just mentioned this.
I'm sure there's some type of technology where they just listen for Grammarly.
If you're an attorney working for Grammarly, please like and subscribe.
Leave a comment below. Yeah. Tell us what we should or shouldn't do. We'll take your legal advice.
Yeah.
But no charge. So.
Well, or maybe
everything on YouTube.
Send us a check. Maybe we will.
No, we don't give out our address. No.
Well, we can just give your address and we'll stop by and pick it up kindly.
I'd be afraid someone's like, yeah, what's your account number, the last 4 of your social, your mother maiden name, I'll send you a check right now.
They already know your pet's name, so they can probably just hack in.
That's not a security question. Good luck. Huh? He's not. I made sure he's not an answer to any security question.
Right.
Because he has a very unique name.
Yeah, not to mention that in order to someone find the town that I grew up in, they would have to learn to spell Greek.
Well, you just narrowed it down.
No, they already know. They already know that we're Greek. We even said the big fat Greek wedding thing, whatever.
Just because we have my big fat Greek wedding memorized.
Yeah, just because we have it memorized line by line doesn't mean that we're Greek.
Doesn't mean that we're Greek. I don't think anybody else has that.
Yeah.
Forced upon them.
But yeah, that's where we're at so far. There was a lot happening in these few chapters. That's why we only left it at 3. So I think, are we halfway through the book by now? That's pretty much exactly halfway, right? Chapter 18.
We are...
There's 32 chapters.
I'd say right there. Yeah, but, it's page count. We're just under. I bet you we're at 48%.
Yeah, so, I just saw chapter 30, I think. So, yeah, we're... Just visually speaking, it looks literally
I had my bookmark in the wrong spot. I think that might be exactly 50%.
Yeah. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
Took us long enough.
Yeah, it took a few months. When did we start this? November, was it? So a few months in, and we're halfway through book 1.
We have spoken to each other to say we will actually make a schedule.
Make an effort to
get together and get this done. Not just like, hey, when do you have some time to do that? And then it's like, no, but like, no, do you have time? No, what about? And then it gets pushed back.
Yeah.
So we're going to actually focus on creating a schedule, a routine, which also is better because then we can have like regular uploads instead of...
Yeah, that's totally not a resolution, by the way. Well, we just decided at the beginning of January that we're going to meet regularly, but we're not having any resolutions.
Yeah, not every decision in January is a resolution, guys. So this doesn't count. So
we're not working on ourselves by doing this. We're wasting time by actually...
You can keep your resolution of not having a resolution this way because we won't make it.
Like, damn, I have to uncheck that box.
You wrote it down?
No.
My one resolution to not make a resolution. Big check. I hope it's on a dry erase board. Just...
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think
Anything else? Any other thoughts for these chapters before we move ahead?
Not really. I mean, I think that kind of wraps it all up for now.
Yeah, now Akar Kessel's going to make his maybe big move. I never know with this book. I would expect Akar Kessel now to have to make a move because his little, army got defeated.
Yeah, his...
Don't blow out their eardrums.
Well, no, that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to they're nothing. They're like a little speck.
Next, we're gonna start an ASMR podcast too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if we want to sell out, I bet you we could make a killing doing that. But
it's a thing.
I know, but trust me, I know.
Okay.
But that's not what's gonna happen.
You don't know. Things might evolve. We're starting out. It could be, podcasts about reading a book.
Yeah,
you don't know how things change.
Eventually, we're just gonna be like, when Wolfgar awake.
You have the right ear. I'll have the left ear. So, and then we'll just be speaking into,
And then people are gonna be wearing this with their headphones.
It was really nice to see Wolfgar's reaction because I wasn't expecting. I think we need to stop. I'm overly caffeinated is what I like to blame it on. But I'm just having a good old time.
Okay, well, I mean, we can continue all this madness after the cameras have stopped rolling, so hopefully we don't get canceled.
Yeah, you won't be privy to that. Okay.
Wait, we didn't even,
we
gotta say goodbye.
Okay, we were just talking about how, we finally found our groove. Look at, the last episode compared to our first episode, right?
It was, though. It was way better, right?
Okay, it is way better.
Just the quality.
Yeah, we're getting the hang of this. No, we don't know what we're doing, but we're just here to have a good time.
Yeah, we're just in it
I hope everybody else just kind of... wants to hang out, listen to us talk.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. And it also, I think what we're getting better at is not wasting too much time setting up all this stuff here.
That's been nice, because that used to take us an hour.
Yeah, the first episode took us an hour, and it only took us 20 minutes this time. So at least it's getting more efficient.
We'll find a space where we don't have to take it apart and set it up. This is my office. So, yeah, we can't keep it here.
So many plants. Most of setting up has to do with moving the plants. Yeah.
I should count how many I have in here so that I can say to the next one. It's yep, probably 100. Yeah.
We're gonna suffocate in here. Too much
oxygen.
Yeah.
You're welcome. That's why we're speaking so clearly is because we have a clear...
Of course.
Because we have a clear head from this pure oxygen we're getting,
We're huffing we're literally hiding
go huff
spores.
A leaf over there. Go sniff a leaf, a begonia. Go sniff on the begonias over there.
Yeah. Who needs peyote when we have all this crap?
Yeah.
But anyway,
direct to the source.
I think that's about enough of this nonsense.
This is a good place to end it. Yeah, that's a great note to end on. So
Happy New Year, and we'll see you in the next few chapters.
Yay.
Bye.